Hello and welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. Russia has carried out another large-scale aerial attack on Ukraine. At the same time, Kyiv is expanding air defense capacity, including new private sector units, while pushing for deeper cooperation with European partners and continued financial support. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss is Rudik, a Ukrainian MP and leader of the Voice Party. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, Ben, and thank you so much for having me.
So there's been recent reports of the increased utilization of the double tap strikes. Can you help us understand how that has affected Ukrainians on the ground and how's Ukraine dealing with it?
It is incredibly hard that we have to sustain 4 years into full-scale invasion, still the supermassive attacks. Russia have changed their tactics. They are attacking right now openly civilian infrastructure. They're attacking trains. They're attacking our energy sector. And if beforehand they were doing it mostly during the night, right now they're doing it during the day. They are using both missiles and drones and trying to exhaust our air defense systems. So Ukraine is just trying to survive, and we are trying to be even more ready, even more proactive, and figure out different ways of defending ourselves and basically surviving these attacks. On a personal matter, Ben, the last attack that happened yesterday, it was so loud, it was so terrifying that I honestly do not remember last time when it was so personally scary.
Right, and Spiha is also saying that Russian plans to carry out 7 large-scale strikes against Ukraine per month. Does Ukraine have the capacity and air defense to deal with that kind of scale?
Whatever we are trying to get may not be enough to take down 7 massive attacks. Another question is, would Russia have enough of resources to carry out 7 massive attacks? Though we hear reports that this is their plan to prepare to, we hope that our attempts to destroy their military capabilities will stop them from being able to have the resources for 7 large attacks. But the issue indeed continues to be that we cannot say that we are 100% protected, and we are still in the need of additional air defense systems, of additional ammunition for that. Though there are certain types of drones that Ukraine is able to take down by itself, but there are certain missiles, especially ballistic missiles, where we heavily depend on the United States as a producer of the Patriot missile systems and on the Pearl program that helps us to purchase those systems.
Now, quite interesting development is that there's a private air defense unit within Ukraine has reportedly achieved its first successful interception of jet-powered Shahed drones. How reliable is this approach going forward? Do you think that's going to change anything that's going to help out the situation?
Well, it is indeed, today is a historic day when this was carried out for the first time. And we hope that the private initiatives where people will be not only emotionally interested, but also financially interested in taking down the drones, will work out very well and will allow us to cover really massive territories that's very hard to cover for Ukraine's army. Also, we see that the business side of things is moving very fast and is able to innovate really fast. And then so we hope that the private side of our air defense capacities will show very good results. You see, Ukraine is innovating not because we wanted to. It's just a matter for us of survival, and we hope that this first attempt will be indeed scalable. Everybody's interested to have it scalable.
All right, speaking of making it scalable, is there any attempts at perhaps integrating or coordinating these private sector with the Ukrainian military somehow to expand that capacity?
Well, of course it is. And believe me, there is nothing in the private sectors that's being done without the agreement with our military. But again, when we are talking about the full-scale invasion and those attacks and seeing what's happening in Iran and Gulf countries, we are explaining to the world again and again that it's not a matter that you can that you will be taking down the $50,000 drones with a multi-million-dollar missile. It's not an achievement if you're doing that. The issue is economic reliability and economic comparability of the attack and defense. And so from Ukraine's side, we are also trying to make it hard for Russia and also bearable for our budget. That's why we are looking for the solutions that will be sustainable on all the different matters. And again, relating to the types of the drones and types of the missiles, there is something that we cannot produce just yet to intercept ballistic missiles. However, with the drones, we have better experience, and we are trying to make it so that it will be at least comparable for us to take down the drones that for Russia to manufacture them.
Right, and in the meantime, there's also development in the foreign policy front as well. Recently, we've seen President Zelensky going on quite a diplomatic offensive, signing bilateral deals and meeting various leaders. Now, the most recent one saw the Swedish king visiting Zelensky in Lviv, and we have the latest statement from the Ukrainian president. Let's take a look.
We are grateful for the new strong program to strengthen the protection of our skies and for our future modern air fleet based on Swedish-made aircraft, the Gripens. We're also very hopeful, and we will discuss this today with His Majesty, that our men, our pilots, will begin training and instruction this year.
Now, of course, this is only one of the most latest meetings the Ukrainian president has had over the past couple of days. How has this contributed to the support from other countries, and do you think that this will somehow help alleviate the situation on the ground?
So President was doing like this a bigger circle of unity, getting Gulf countries to be on board and get them to interact and support Ukraine, get European countries again on board with additional capacity for Ukraine, and now getting the Polish head of the royal family to Ukraine. So it all is continuing the support while the first pages of the newspapers in the world is being taken by Iran on any other developments, though Ukraine needs support same as we were needing it a year, 2 years, and 3 years before. So it is very important that President is trying to keep us relevant and to get us on the first pages and to remind the world that the war is still going on, and that if we lose it, right now it seems that there is no global policeman who will come and stop the horde that is coming from Russia's side. This is why, again, we keep reiterating the importance of ongoing predicted support for Ukraine so we can continue fighting. As we see, Ben, the attempts of get some peace deal to Ukraine have not moved anywhere. President Trump's eyes right now are in Iran, and we do not think that there is any realistic way of bringing peace anytime soon. Russia keeps attacking us, and the so-called Eastern ceasefire, it didn't bring us really some results that was expected.
Right, and of course, speaking of the diplomatic front, I want to talk about the Antalya Diplomacy Forum a little bit, where Spiha said that, quote, "We are ready for a meeting of leaders in Turkey in the Zelensky-Putin format with the participation of Erdogan and Trump." Do you think that this is likely to take place? And if it does, what can we expect from it?
The good question is, again, perhaps first, what can we expect from it? And is Russia coming to this meeting with an open heart? Because if this would be a meeting to pressure President Zelensky of giving up territories, I'm sure that there will be nothing out of it, and there will be absolutely no result. We have been very clear about Ukraine's position. It wouldn't change much, and again, the main thing that has changed over the last couple of months is the world have observed the value of the American security guarantees. And so right now, I think Ukraine's nation would need something really feasible to believe that the peace is possible and to believe that Russia would not attack us again. So is this something that is at the table? Is it a way that the United States are able to persuade Russia or assure that Russia wouldn't go ahead after a ceasefire? We will see. But as of right now, here on the ground, there is absolutely zero signs that Russia is willing to stop. They were very open about their plans. They are right now gathering more forces to attack us in the south. They have announced these attacks that they're planning to have like at least 7 massive attacks on Ukraine. So, like, where does peace lie in this these plans? These are not the actions of the country that is ready for negotiations or is ready to end the war or is ready for peace.
All right, last but not least, I want to circle back to the international support and was wondering how stable is the international support from the financial front, including the International Monetary Fund program, because I do know that they've been asking for some quite difficult reforms in order to tap into the resources fully.
It is indeed. So again, the situation really changed over the last 2 weeks. And right now, when Orban is not in power anymore, we can expect the $90 billion loan from the European Union to arrive at some point. Orban was blocking it for the last couple of months, creating this instability and putting us as the worst position when we were negotiating with International Monetary Fund. Right now, this week of negotiation ended. It seems that there is some consensus found that wouldn't require Ukraine on making something that wouldn't pass Ukraine parliament, but will put us again back to the path of the reforms that International Monetary Fund wants us to be seen. Again, in Ukrainian parliament, we all understand our situation. However, there are some things that we think are just not fair towards Ukrainian people, and that the goal that IMF has can be delivered by and achieved by certainly different reforms.
All right, thank you so much for your input and insight, Kira. I really appreciate it, and thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you, Ben, and glory to Ukraine.
And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.